Jai Jinendra. Today is the 6th day of Paryushan. As far as we can remember history, we have seen one element that exists throughout ages, and that are wars. From the World Wars to the French Revolution, from the Battle of Panipat to the Battle of Kalinga, wars have been an integral part of every civilization. And not just civilizations, but our life too. Battles are not just a historical story, they mirror human emotions, our thought processes, and reflect the mentalities which ultimately take shape even as conflicts in the present. If I were to ask you, when your history will be written, who do you wish to be? The one who started battles or the one who ended them? And that's why today, on the occasion of Paryushan Parva, we shall clean the one thorn from our heart, which is said to be the root cause of every battle, and that is demands. To analyze this better, let's take a case study from history. King Bimbisara of Magad was succeeded by his son, King Konik. While King Konik had chosen to take over the empire, his younger brothers, Hal and Vihal, had been gifted a white, resplendent elephant named Sechanak. The elephant was so lustrous, he was also blessed with a sixth sense known as Avadhi Gnan, and so his value was equivalent to that of a whole kingdom. The two younger brothers were very satisfied with what they had. One day, King Konik's wife noticed the two younger brothers and their wives, who were enjoying themselves in the royal garden. The elephant Sechanak was playing and entertaining them in numerous ways. The queen thought to herself, I am the queen, but they are enjoying greater royal pleasures than I am. I want this elephant. And so she laid this demand in front of the king. The king sent a command to his two brothers to surrender Sechanak. The brothers tried to explain that when our father was distributing his legacy, you chose the kingdom and we received this elephant. Then why are you asking us to hand over this as well? But the king was in no mood to reason. He wanted to fulfill his wife's demand. Fearing for their lives and their elephant, the two brothers escaped from the kingdom overnight and took refuge with King Cheda, their maternal grandfather. A single demand, a single desire can sometimes disturb an entire relation. That's why Bhagwan Mahavir said, Ichhao Agas Sama, which means that desires are like the sky. They can never satisfy us. When we fulfill one desire, we feel that we will be satisfied. But in reality, a new demand takes birth and the cycle is never ending. Just think, when your stomach makes a demand for food, you go and eat something. And you feel that your hunger will get satisfied. But is it ever possible to satisfy hunger? Or will your stomach inevitably make a new demand the next day? Can a stomach ever be satisfied permanently? Impossible. Likewise, demands can never be satisfied permanently. Here, the queen's desire had strengthened with her ego that I am the queen, and things must happen the way I like. This compelled King Konik to send a message to his own grandfather, King Cheda, that surrender the elephant Sechanak and my two brothers Hal and Vihal. Else, be prepared for war. So many lives were lost in that battle. So many families had lost their breadwinner, just for one demand. If we observe our lives too, we will see that whatever we do is because of demands and desires. But sometimes our demand does not only disturb us, it causes pain and disturbance to others too. That's why Bhagwan Mahavir said that when we get something naturally, it is our good luck. But when we make a demand, it depletes our good luck and increases the stock of bad luck. If you see two children in a house, one who keeps demanding for toys, for chocolates, for cars, for gadgets, etc., and a second child who is calm and composed, who is not stubborn and who listens to you with the belief that it is for their own good. Which child will you like and have more affection and respect for? You must have seen dogs who start barking when an unknown dog enters their lane. or tigers who kill their own cubs to remain the alpha male in the pack. They fight for food, they fight for objects, they fight for the right they do not have. Does a dog have any legal papers for the lane he is staying in? No, but he still fights for his right. Humans, on the other hand, fight for beliefs. Political parties, religions, cults, social groups, and even nations are formed on the base of belief systems. Because a human has an advanced mind which can think. But if a human starts fighting for objects, then is there much difference between us and animals? If we fight for property, if we fight for ownership rights, doesn't it look silly? When we visit historical places, we think maybe there was a fort here. Acha, idhar aisa tha. This battle took place here. But we never think that both the sides of the battle fought for something which is in ruins today. Great empires have fallen, towering forts have crumbled, and civilizations have been ruined. And we still fight for that which itself is temporary. We make demands for that which itself is going to turn to ash. Brothers fight brothers. Children argue with parents. A fight for what? A fight for lifeless objects? Think again. If you really want to make this Paryushan successful, make a resolve that I will never make my greed, my demands for lifeless objects a priority over living people. If you're fighting for an ideology, for values that you deeply stand for, that is still understandable. Because everybody can have different viewpoints. But fighting for things degrades our level as a human being to an altogether different low. And so, the task for the day. Pick up 5 objects that you're really attached to and see their past, present, and future state. For example, a book. Its past was a tree. Its present is a brand new book. And its future is going to be torn pieces of paper, maybe rotting in garbage. And then ask yourself, will I fight for its past tense? Will I fight for its future tense? If not, why do I fight for its present tense, which itself is temporary? Jai Jinendra.